As a CEO and founder that brought on partners and committed to partners of results, it's really important for me to think about, okay, what is ethics versus getting results? Like where's that line? And I think it'd be a great conversation.
And how do you actually identify the results you're getting without a super deep dive too into that individual partner or partnership as a whole? Like, what do you measure that by?
The ethics or the results?
The results.
I think results is just the results on the simple face is simply, were we profitable this year, and do we have work, and then the ethics comes in is, and you can always make a little money if you bend some ethics. There's ways to make a little if you bend some ethics.
Bend some ethics. Your moral compass is in your own head to a certain extent. We all know right from wrong, like the bad shit. We know what the bad shit is, but to, like, the way we're talking, what Bert might see as dishonorable, I might see as perfectly fine. You got to take care of number one.
I like to think that when it comes to morally ethics in the moral sense, is it injuring someone, or did you go against what you agreed to?
Yeah.
Those two things. Like, if you didn't do that, I'm fine with it.
But I kind of think though that's where there's like this. Did you agree to it? Like, did you make it clear that it wasn't an agreement, or like the other person's perspective and how you portrayed this? Say you're gonna justify doing something that one might think is unethical, but you feel like it's perfectly ethical.
Well,
but the other side of that coin, they may feel like you committed to something, but you got to know.
One thing I would say about that, and I think this is a valid point. That's a valid point. Then they need to come and negotiate. Like, they need to come and make their point. The problem is a lot of people will just crouch down and choose to just hate you instead of come and make their case, so to speak.
Yeah.
If they don't choose to come make their case,
that's your justification. Yeah, and you're like, well, all right.
Thanks for letting me screw you.
Yep. The nice guy finishes last.
It's not even about screwing people. Like, we see somebody that's famous and they take a deal, via commercial, or side with somebody that you don't like or you think is morally not right. And we choose to just rag on them, hate on them. And everybody does it. Everybody does it. And we're like, well, you got to think of all that money that they're giving him to do it. And trying to justify it. It's like, well, he makes, enough of this or that or whatever, It's not morally wrong to promote something, especially, like I said at first, we all live our life between our ears.
Yeah.
How you perceive this thing or company that's being promoted might be completely different than somebody's true beliefs on it, somebody else's true beliefs on it.
Yeah, and I think people like old Kelsey and taking that Pfizer shit. I think that he's a perfect example of not giving a fuck. Yeah. Like he that's why I don't hate him. Like, hate on him like the rest of everyone.
I do. Like, that's enough. That's enough for me to hate him. I'm done with him because of that.
Right.
Like, you can't, with good conscience and common sense, go do a commercial for Pfizer after what they've done. You just can't.
Well, like, not everybody has that same opinion.
Well, they don't have that.
I do.
They don't have. Well, I guess it just goes back to, you can show somebody the truth and they can just not believe it.
Well, I mean, like what
So
credibility?
how do you know that he's been shown the proof? Like if he turns a blind eye to it,
DeMar
then he
Hamlin
doesn't
fell
know.
over on the field. What more proof do you need? And that's one of thousands and thousands of people.
There's a lot of
people. You're acting like nobody ever fell over with some kind of condition before.
Yeah, but you're acting like it hasn't started happening at greater numbers, and he knows about it. But he knows about it. So he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
That's only opinion, though, saying that he knows about it. If somebody chooses to turn a blind eye to something, or they form an opinion, and so nothing else that they casually hear will stay. I do it all the time with certain things.
We did it with our religion. We wouldn't listen to anybody. Like, if they say, oh, this and that, you're wrong. And you're like, nope, that's on the shelf. I prayed, I believe
here's that's a great analogy. I love that. But here's how I liken something else. Like, we talk about the people that don't believe what we feel like is the truth, that those vaccines are causing all that. In the same sense, in the religion, we didn't believe that the screw-ups, the fuck-ups by the leadership is what's causing all the negativity in that society, all the failures in the society, until we did.
Exactly.
And that's what I argue is, like, until it was proven in our own heads, we didn't believe it.
And we didn't believe it until we were way outside.
Well, and that's true. That is true. I'll take that. And if you guys want to justify him for doing that, fine.
I'm not justifying him. I have the same stance and fuck Pfizer.
Yeah,
I don't hate on him.
But I mean, you just have to you're gonna have to just stop. And I'm talking to myself. Either just stop watching it, or be able to just ignore little sections of it and enjoy the sport. That's entertainment. And I cut myself off of it after the kneeling, like football and stuff, for a couple years.
Your emotions.
But I love watching the game. I love the game. It's fun to watch. It's entertainment and. So for that, I use it for entertainment.